Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers and sisters, Bismi Allahi Armani Arahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Today, I want to begin with a simple truth. Every one of us is climbing a mountain of dreams, struggles, fears, and hopes. Some people start the climb but give up halfway. Others reach a little higher, then get tired and stop. And only a few, reach the peak. But the difference is not strength. It's not luck. It's not money. The difference is mindset. In this video, we will talk about how to rise above hesitation, how to control your inner voice, and how to push yourself higher than you ever believed. Because the peak is not given. The peak is earned. Step by step, decision by decision, heartbeat by heartbeat. So sit with me for a few minutes. Open your mind, open your heart, and together, let's discover how to reach the peak of your life. Spiritually, mentally, and personally. Let's begin. When souls are great, bodies tire in pursuit. When the soul's ambitions are high, the body grows weary in its pursuit. The higher the heart aims, the harder the body works. Have you noticed the prophet? Aisha would enter upon him, and Bile would rise at night in prayer until his feet blistered. Why? Because his aim was lofty. He did not care if his feet cracked, bled, or if he felt exhaustion. What mattered was the ultimate goal. Paradise, whose width encompasses the heavens and the earth. The Prophet taught that those who fear Allah and act sincerely will reach their destination. Those who truly strive will attain their goal. The reward Allah has prepared, paradise, is precious and priceless. So if someone asks you, where do you want to reach? You should answer, I aim for the highest peak. Do not settle for the middle. Do not settle for anything low or ordinary. Do not accept anything less than the summit. One companion performed ablution, and the Prophet came to him and said, Ask me, ask for whatever you want. This is the messenger of Allah. If anyone asks his Lord, Allah will answer. Even an ordinary person, if he asks Allah, might request mountains of gold or to marry his beloved. At the very least, he would receive something. So strive and ask for the highest reward with effort and faith. Abu said, I want to enter paradise. A clever person wouldn't just say, I want paradise. No, the clever person says, I want Al-Firdaws, the highest place in paradise. And after Al-Firdaws, he wants the best place inside Al-Firdaws. And where is that? He said, I ask you to accompany me in paradise to the best place. The companion's intelligence is remarkable. Wherever you go, your effort and wisdom travel with you. He said, if you want this high rank, this peak, then discipline yourself with abundant prostrations. If you aim for something, do not settle for less than the stars. If you want to reach something, do not ask for less than the stars. Let your ambition be to reach the stars. If your goal is great, ask for the highest. If you aim for something, do not be content with less than the stars. The taste of death in pursuing a great matter is the same as the taste of death itself. Death is one, whether you face it in a small matter or a great one. So if you are going to ask for the highest things. That is why the companions, may Allah be pleased with them, would advance in battle fearlessly. They said, I smell the fragrance of paradise before anyone else. He said, when you ask Allah, ask for Al-Firdaws, for it is the highest part of paradise. Do not despair if you want the peak, the highest ranks. Do not give up if you try once and fail, twice and fail again. Listen to the story of a man named Timur Lenk. You may have heard of him, a leader. What did he do? Let me give you the lesson from his story. It is like a person who wants to achieve something, whether right or wrong, they do not succeed the first time. The lesson: persistence and aiming high are key. Do not settle for less. Strive for the peak, for the stars. Failure once does not mean giving up and staying at home. No, whoever wants to reach the peak, even if they fall a second time, a third time, a fourth time, or even 20 times, they keep going until they reach it. If you want the peak, do not settle for less. Timur Lenk had an army. His army was defeated, broken, and scattered. People fled. He went into a cave in a mountain. Imagine, someone enters a cave, sitting there sad and broken because his army was defeated. While lying there, he saw an ant climbing a wall. Climbed, and then fell. Tried again. The ant fell a second time, a third, a fourth, the 16th, but it never gave up. On the 17th attempt, it reached the top. From that, Timur-Lenk learned a lesson. This ant tried 17 times with patience, and here I am, a man, failing to try even once. So he reorganized his army. He said, "We will attack again." He gathered the army, and on the second attempt, with strong determination, he succeeded and won. Do not despair from the first attempt, nor the second, nor the third. Commit yourself fully, and if you commit, put your trust in Allah. If you want role models, choose the highest ranks on earth, the best people. The best of people on earth are the messengers of Allah. No, not just any messengers, the messengers who were most steadfast in determination. Be patient like them. Be patient as the steadfast messengers were patient. The path is long and difficult. The coward will remain forever under fear, sitting and never climbing mountains, never crossing rivers, never attempting. This fearful coward will live forever in the pits. But the courageous person will reach the peak, even if it takes time. Whoever fears climbing the mountains will live their entire life stuck in the pits. Every brave person rises. Take Abu Bakr al-Siddiq, may Allah be pleased with him, as an example. After the Prophet passed away, the Arab tribes turned away from Islam, and the people of Medina were terrified. Some of the people of Medina from among the Sahaba were extremely afraid for their families. The Arabs had united against them. All the tribes surrounding Medina had apostatized except those whom Allah had protected, and they wanted to attack Medina. In Medina, there was an army that included the senior and strongest companions, under the leadership of Usama ibn Zayd. That army had not yet marched out. It was supposed to leave before the death of the Prophet, but the Prophet passed away, so the army stayed. Then Abu Bakr came and said to the army of Usama must go. The Sahaba said to him, "What are you doing, O Abu Bakr? We cannot even protect ourselves right now from these tribes that have apostatized, and you want to send the army to Al-Sham." He replied, "I will never stop an army that the Prophet ordered to march. Impossible. This was an order from the Prophet." They said, "O Abu Bakr, what are you doing?" He said, "By Allah, I will carry out the command of the Messenger of Allah." And truly the army marched out, an army full of the greatest and strongest companions. What happened? All the Bedouin Arab tribes became afraid of Medina. They said, "What kind of nation is this? In such a difficult situation, they still send an army to fight the Romans? This must be a powerful nation." Everyone became terrified and stayed back. Look at the intelligence of Abu Bakr. Then Abu Bakr picked up his weapon and said, "We will fight." They asked, "Fight who, O Abu Bakr?" Abu Bakr was thinking about the peak, not about anything lower than it. They asked again, "Fight who, O Abu Bakr?" He replied, "I will fight anyone who differentiates between prayer and zakah. Whoever refuses zakah, I will fight him." They said, "Who will fight with you, O Abu Bakr?" He said, "By Allah, even if no one comes with me, even if I am alone by myself, even if my neck is exposed and my head is cut from my shoulders, I will fight them. By Allah, even if all people abandon me." And indeed, the people gathered around him, and Abu Bakr broke the power of the apostates. If it were not for the stance of Abu Bakr at that time, the Muslims might have become weak. But a man like Abu Bakr does not fear climbing mountains. And whoever fears climbing mountains will live his whole life in the pits. So what is your concern? What is your goal in life? What do you want to become? Say to yourself, "I will accept nothing except the peak. I will not settle for anything less." There was a man named Kafir al-Akhshidi. Kafir al-Akhshidi had a companion. He was a slave. And his companion was a slave as well, bought and sold in the markets. In the market of Egypt, Kafir was sitting, tied up. Kafir's companion, the second slave, was tied up as well. They were waiting for someone to come and buy them, each one waiting for a buyer. Slaves were bought and sold. Kafir asked his companion, "What do you wish for now?" Who do you want to buy you? What do you want to become? His companion replied, I hope a man will buy me to work as his cook. I want someone to buy me to be a cook for him. Kafir asked, Why? His companion answered, So that when I return I can eat. Look at his thinking, it is limited to food. His ambition does not go beyond eating and drinking. Many people are like this. Their concern is only for their stomach. Kafir's companion then asked him, And you, Kafir, who do you want to buy you? What is your concern in life? Kafir said, I want to own all of Egypt, including my slave, and live as a master. His companion laughed at him. You're crazy. But a strong leader purchased Kafir. When the leader trusted him, he gave Kafir an army. Kafir became a commander of the army and rose through the ranks until he became the deputy governor. When the governor passed away, there was no one to govern Egypt, so Kafir became the governor and ruled Egypt, Al-Sham, and the lands of the two holy mosques. Years passed, and one day Kafir, with his army, passed by a poor man, a slave working as a cook. Kafir said to his companions, Have you seen this? He told them the story. Had this man's ambition been higher, he could have reached a higher position. But because his ambition was low, he stayed in this lowly position. Tell me your ambition, and I will tell you who you are and what you will become. He continued, Whoever wants to see the face of Allah must act accordingly. Whoever wants the highest paradise must work for it. Whoever wants knowledge must strive for it. Some were asked, Where did you acquire all this knowledge? They replied, By persistence, just like the crow's patience, walking the earth, struggling, and working diligently. For example, Imam al-Bukhari would wake up 20 times each night. Do you know what he did? 20 times he would wake up, light his lamp, which is not like our easy modern lights, prepare his ink, dip his pen, write down every thought he had on the paper, all in the middle of the night. He did this 20 times in one night. That's why he became Imam al-Bukhari. If you want the peak, you must work for it, even while sleeping, even while sitting. You cannot reach the peak without planning, ambition, or careful use of time. I am amazed at someone who wants the peak while wasting time. Here is another story. A boy in 19th century America entered school, but unfortunately, his thinking was weak, what we would today call stupid. He asked silly questions in class. The teachers scolded him because he knew nothing. He was expelled from school about 160 years ago. His mother, who was educated, was upset for her son. She stayed at home and personally taught him. He studied constantly lesson after lesson, including Arabic, English, mathematics, chemistry, physics, and all the scientific subjects. The lesson begins with the boy in America. He started working because his mother, by herself, had no one to support her. Wherever he went, train stations everywhere, he sold magazines to earn money to support his mother. Days passed, and this boy began observing how people worked with the telegraph, the system used before modern message delivery. He was fascinated by the telegraph and became an employee there. He marveled, What is this telegraph? How does it work? You remember, in the old days it sent signals, every click represented a letter, and messages were transmitted from country to country. It was their only means of long-distance communication. He worked there and supported his mother. One day, his mother became seriously ill. He called the doctor, and the doctor said, Your mother needs surgery. He asked, Do it for her. The doctor replied, Not tonight, we can't. Why? Why not? The lamplight is not enough. There's no electricity, and the lamp cannot provide sufficient light for surgery. We must wait until morning. He said, My mother might die. What should we do? There's no solution. That night, the boy stayed awake, heartbroken over his mother's condition. He wondered, Why do humans and the world have nothing to illuminate the darkness? He resolved, I will discover something that brings light to the darkness for people. This foolish boy began experimenting. He conducted more than 900 experiments, all of them failures. Every single attempt failed. Each time, the tools didn't work, and every experiment ended in failure. Finally, after more than 900 attempts, he invented something that changed the entire world. What was his invention? The electric light bulb. Thomas Edison changed the world. Today, you sit in your tents and these lights you see. Remember, they come from that boy who had failed in school and failed 900 times. He persisted and succeeded. We, on the other hand, may give up after failing once. Maybe the first time we read a book, we don't understand it, but we must try a second time, a third, a fourth. Even memorizing the Quran, you may not succeed the first time. You may fail many times at your first attempt. Your first course may be the hardest or the least successful, but continue. If you want to become a scholar, you can become a scholar. If you want to become a preacher, you can become a preacher. If you want to change the world, you can change the world. But the question is, will you continue? Do you have the determination? Do you have the strength? Take Ahmed Yassin, that heroic man who thought only about reaching the peak. A man sitting in a wheelchair being dragged around, and one day they threatened to kill him. He laughed and said, "They try to scare us with death while we are the ones who seek martyrdom. How can they frighten us with death when martyrdom is exactly what we desire?" The Prophet used to teach his companions to aim for the highest levels. One day in the Battle of Badr, he told them, "Stand up." They asked, "Where are we going, O Messenger of Allah?" He said, "To a paradise as wide as the heavens and the earth." He told them, "Whoever wants to enter paradise, let him step forward." Then one of the companions said, "Bakeen, Bakeen, O Messenger of Allah," an expression of admiration and excitement. The Prophet asked, "What made you say, Bakeen?" He replied, "The hope that I will be among its people. I wish to be of the people of paradise." The Prophet said, "You are one of its people." Imagine a man walking on the earth, but it is already written that he is one of the people of paradise. How long would he live after hearing that? He said, "Life is too long if I sit here eating these dates." So he threw the dates aside and advanced forward. One of the things that prevent you from reaching the peak is desires and sins. Someone might be attached to a girl, or addicted to music, or sleeps through the prayer. How will such a person reach the top? He cannot move even one step forward. The one who ties his heart to sins and temptations will never reach the summit. Whoever wants to reach the peak must throw his desires behind his back. Have you heard of a man called Abdurrahman al-Dakhil? He had a title known as the Falcon of Quraysh. He was given this title by Abu Ja'far al-Mansur or someone else. Why falcon? Because a falcon does not land just anywhere, and it does not fly just anywhere. Abdurrahman al-Dakhil, the entire Abbasid state was searching for him, an entire empire hunting one man, and they could not catch him. Where did he go? He fled to Morocco. When he arrived, the people of Morocco offered him protection. They said, "What do you want, Abdurrahman?" "Protection. We will give it to you." He replied, "By Allah, I do not want your protection. I do not need protection. I have a concern far higher than that." They told him, "Stay. We will protect you from being killed." He said, "I am not afraid of being killed. I have a greater purpose than that." Where was he going? He was heading to Al-Andalus, Spain. And indeed, Abdurrahman crossed the sea and reached Al-Andalus. When he arrived, they welcomed him. Do you know who Abdurrahman al-Dakhil truly was, my brothers? There are some people who are not ordinary. Some people equal 1,000 men. 1,000 men cannot equal one of them. When this man arrived in Al-Andalus, they seated him, honored him, and gifted him a slave girl to weaken his determination. They wanted worldly temptations to break his focus. They gave him one of the most beautiful women in Al-Andalus. When he looked at her, he said, "By Allah, you are in a place close to the heart and the eye. The heart and the eye long for someone like you. But my ambition is higher. I have a great mission. If I take you and become busy with my ambition instead of you, I will wrong you. And if I become busy with you instead of my mission, I will wrong my mission. I have no need for you now. Remove her from me. I have a greater purpose." And so he established his kingdom. He is Abdurrahman al-Dakhil, the Falcon of Quraysh. Have you heard of a man named Dr. Abd al-Rahman? Many of you have heard of him. He went to Africa with nothing but himself. Everything he had was gone. He went exploring decades ago and entered a vast continent where only the Christian missionaries worked, spending billions. Entire villages that were once Muslim had become Christian. Whole cities. Muslims were weak, and poverty was destroying the people. He said to himself, I will work in this continent alone. What are you going to do, Abd al-Rahman? Now, while he lies on his sickbed, sick and unable to move, do you know how many people entered Islam because of him? More than 10 million people. More than 10 million. This man thought of nothing but reaching the peak. He wishes now, as he lies in illness, that he could stand up just to continue his path. When souls are great, bodies grow weary in their pursuit. Sometimes the body cannot handle the weight of a high ambition. Imam Ahmad was asked, when does the believer taste rest? Meaning, when does a true believer finally relax in this world? Do you know what he answered? At the first step he takes in paradise. They're not here. Allah says, race toward forgiveness from your Lord. Race toward a paradise as wide as the heavens and the earth, prepared for the righteous. Race toward a great paradise. And the Prophet said, authentic. Allah loves lofty matters and hates trivial ones. If you ask some people, what is your goal in life? They embarrass you with their answers. I want to be a star. I want to be a football player. Okay. And then, is that the peak? I once sat with Farooq Zuman, the first Saudi to climb the summit of Mount Everest. You've heard of it, the highest point on earth. Only those with certain health conditions can even attempt it. Many people die on the way. Many cannot continue. If 100 start, maybe 10 reach the top. And the training took months. One day, I was at a shop in a foreign country, observing the situation, planning to reach the summit. One of the locals saw me and said, you're a foreigner. Where are you from? I said, from Saudi Arabia. He asked, where's Saudi Arabia? I explained it was in the Arabian Peninsula. He then said, your temperatures are 50 degrees there, right? I said, yes. He said, don't even think about reaching the top. Your body won't endure it. Up there, it's about 50 degrees below zero. There's no oxygen. It's like another planet. When he said these words, my determination only grew stronger. There are people with a love for challenge. As long as you keep walking forward, ignore the discouragement, the naysayers. My goal is to reach the summit, to accomplish something that has never been done before. I asked him, why did you intend to do this? He said, because I wanted to do something no one else has done before. Before me, Arabs or Muslims had never reached it. I wanted to call the Adhan, call to prayer, at the highest point on earth, so that on the day of judgment I could say, O Lord, I called to you from the highest point on earth. If Bilal was the first to call the Adhan, I wanted to be the first to do it at the highest place on earth. And so he endured all the difficulties, the discouragement, the setbacks, the betrayals. Do you know what he went through? The obstacles were enormous. Yet in the end, he reached the summit, something few managed, while the majority never did. And he called the Adhan at the highest point on earth. If you are aiming for something high, do not settle for anything less than the stars. If you seek a goal, aim for the highest place. Do not say, I can't. Do not say, it's too hard. Do not say, I'm not capable. Do not say, nobody will help me. What do you need from others? Nothing. The self-made person, the one who relies on himself after Allah, can achieve anything. Even if you are alone, you can reach your goal. There is no time for rest. Our religion is a religion of determination and effort. The Prophet would seek refuge from weakness and laziness in his dua. O Allah, I seek refuge in you from incapacity and laziness. Listen carefully to this man. The lesson is clear. True ambition, persistence, and reliance on Allah alone will carry you to the highest peaks, whether literally or metaphorically. A journalist said he visited a village. When he arrived, he prayed in a small, simple, old mosque in a remote area. After the prayer, as they were leaving, they noticed a rope tied in the mosque, extending outside the building and stretching far away. Curious, he asked some locals, "What is this rope for?" They told him, "You wouldn't understand. You're a stranger here." He decided to follow the rope. He and his companion grabbed it and started walking along it. The rope continued far out, tied intermittently to various points and trees. They followed it all the way to the edge of the village. Eventually, it led them to an old room with a restroom. Surprised, they knocked on the door to ask. An elderly man, perhaps in his 90s, answered. He was blind. They asked him, "Sir, what is this rope for?" He replied, "This rope goes outside the village. I tied it many years ago because there was no guide to lead me to the mosque. I am blind and no one from outside the village comes to guide me. Every day, 5 times during the day and once at night, I follow this rope to reach the house of Allah and pray there. I never miss a prayer, no matter the cold or the heat. This was for my brother and me, but my brother passed away, and I continue alone, walking along this rope every day to reach the mosque and perform my prayers." He added, "Today, the mosque is next to my house, and the muezzin calls the adhan. But some people are lazy. Even when the call to prayer comes, they delay or walk slowly, showing laziness. But a person with high determination never settles for anything less than the front row in prayer." The journalist continued, highlighting the lesson. "Imagine if people truly understood. The Prophet said that if people knew the reward and virtue of standing in the first row, they would compete for it. If only people realized its value, they wouldn't wait or complain. The one with high ambition always strives for the best. Even if there is only one spot, they race for it, never settling for less. The hadith says, if people knew the reward of the first row, they would compete for it. And if they had to draw lots, they would do so just to be in the first row. Think about it, people sitting behind, waiting for the first row to finish so they can pray in the second row. This is the mentality of low ambition. People should be racing toward the first row, striving and competing for it. Today, many sit lazily, waiting for others, showing no high ambition. Where is your high determination? Where is your great aspiration? The beginning of any work is ambition. First comes the will, then the person develops a high purpose, and then they can reach the top. Consider the companions of strong resolve. Ali ibn Hassan ibn Shakik said, I spent a night with Abdullah ibn al-Mubarak during a cold night in Medina. After the Isha prayer, we stayed studying together, discussing knowledge and legal questions. We forgot ourselves, standing at the doorway, and when we finished, the far adhan was called. Imagine, after Isha prayer, standing for nearly 10 hours, completely absorbed in learning, forgetting themselves in the cold night. That is high determination. Similarly, Al-Albani, may Allah have mercy on him, when researching a hadith in the library, would climb the shelves for high books, dive deep into research, explore different chains of narrations, and remain there for hours, forgetting his food, sleep, and comfort. Why? Because he was striving for the peak, seeking the highest knowledge. The hardship doesn't matter to someone who is aiming for the top. Just like climbing a mountain. When it gets difficult, one must keep going, step by step until reaching the summit. Only then can one rest. As Allah commands, so hasten to forgiveness from your Lord and a garden whose width is that of the heavens and the earth. In other words, there is no time for rest in the path of striving for excellence. There is no room for following lazy or weak people. This religion requires people of determination, energy, and ambition. Not everyone can reach the peaks of life. It takes high aspirations. Listen to the story of a young girl in America. From birth, she suffered from brain inflammation, which immediately caused her blindness and deafness. Imagine, a human who can neither see nor hear. What can they do in life? By the age of 14, she was admitted to a special school for the deaf and blind. She told her friends, I will study at the best university. They laughed at her. Someone like you cannot reach the best university. Where is the best university anyway? Despite all obstacles, she excelled. She first entered an American school, then went on to the world's top university, Harvard. This girl, who cannot see or hear, graduated in 4 years with distinction, earning honors. She wrote a book that was translated into 50 languages. Her life became an example higher than most of her time, proving that physical limitations do not prevent a high ambition. We also have examples in our own time. Sheikh Ibn Baz, a prominent imam of our era, lost his eyesight, yet he had high aspirations and Allah granted him success. Remember, sight does not work the hearts, but determination, ambition, and devotion do. Contrast this with those whose ambitions are low. Some people chase after trivial things, chasing girls, playing video games, spending nights idle, instead of striving for greatness. Now look at someone with true high ambition, Nur al-Din Zangi. He was a leading figure in jihad, a commander, and a reformer. Palestine was under occupation, and he built a platform, minbar, for Jerusalem and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. He inspired people, saying, "We will liberate Palestine." His words stirred ambition and resolve among his followers. Even recently, the legitimate leader in Palestine, Dr. Ismail Haniyeh, continues this legacy. He ordered the construction of a new minbar, pulpit, for Al-Aqsa Mosque. He commanded it, meaning, "Prepare yourselves, brothers." And our brothers at Al-Aqsa Mosque, around the mosque in Jerusalem, told me about this a few months ago, not during Hajj, but the year before. They said, "Sheikh, we've now started thinking about the delegations who will come to Hajj or visit Al-Aqsa Mosque. We've prepared accommodations and arrangements for the delegations coming to visit the mosque." Nur al-Din Zangi did this, and it stirred the zeal of the Ummah. He mobilized armies, declaring, "We will liberate Jerusalem, we will enter Al-Aqsa Mosque, and we have built the minbar." He spent 20 years inspiring people, but he passed away before he could enter Palestine himself. Then a man from his followers, Saladin, continued the mission. He led the army, and Allah granted him victory. The same minbar that Nur al-Din had built was placed in Al-Aqsa Mosque, and Palestine was liberated. High ambition moves entire nations. Your own determination can shape your future. For example, someone who says, "I just want to pass school," is limited, but someone who says, "I will become, God willing, a doctor, and I will not accept anything less," has high aspirations. Do not let obstacles discourage you. If you have ambition, even if years pass and you face repeated failures, you will achieve your goal, God willing. Even for something seemingly difficult like memorizing the Quran, it can be achieved. For instance, a woman in her 60s decided to memorize the Quran. She didn't just memorize parts. She memorized the entire Quran. Ibn al-Qayyim said, "Wise people of every nation agree, bliss is not attained through ease. If you want true bliss, leave the pleasures of this world and seek it in the hereafter." Listen to these people who reached the heights, the summit of effort. One such man is Talha ibn Ubaydullah. The Prophet said, "Whoever wants to see a man from the people of paradise, let him look at Talha ibn Ubaydullah while he walks among the people alive. He is among the faithful who were truthful to Allah's covenant. Some of them have passed away, some are still alive, but they never compromised in their determination. Be among these men. By Allah's permission, the Ummah will be uplifted through people like them. We do not know if hundreds of us sitting here today could be among those who will liberate Palestine, but why not? The Prophet informed us that in the time of the Mahdi, the Islamic army will enter Europe, a sign of high ambition and action. They will conquer Rome, and Rome is Italy, the land of the Vatican. There, the Muslims will triumph. You see, all these Christian lands, full of Christians. For them, the Vatican is like Mecca. Muslims will conquer it, and perhaps some of you will be among them. During this conquest, they advance, and the devil cries out. The devil is terrified. People of Islam are praying, and the devil screams, falsely claiming that the Dajjal, Antichrist, has appeared among you. But this is only to confuse the believers. In reality, the Dajjal has not yet appeared. Soon, Allah will allow him to emerge. What does the Muslim leader do at that time? He wants to verify the situation, so he sends a reconnaissance team. A vanguard goes from Europe back to the Arabian Peninsula to check whether the Dajjal has appeared. This vanguard consists of 10 courageous knights, brave warriors. The Prophet said, "I know their names. Perhaps one of us will be among them." Each of us wishes to be among them. They know the names of their fathers and the colors of their horses. They are the best warriors on earth at that time, the finest mujahideen, advancing to scout the situation. The Dajjal has not yet emerged, but this teaches us something. Have high ambition. Whoever sincerely seeks martyrdom, if he is truthful in his heart, Allah elevates him to the ranks of the martyrs. Even if he dies in his bed, if he had high ambition, he does not waste his time. Whoever has high aspiration will reach the summit. Set a goal. Plan your means. Prepare everything you need to reach the top. Through study, trade, knowledge, work, or any beneficial pursuit, worldly or spiritual. If you have high ambition, set a realistic goal and the means to achieve it, and by Allah's permission, you will succeed. Do not be like those who laze around without awareness. Some people sleep until noon, not knowing when to rise. Some say, "I'll wake up whenever I feel like it." That is not life. A person with high ambition rises early, works hard, digs, toils, even if for worldly reward, but they do it with dedication and persistence. Others live without purpose, unaware of life itself. Do not say, "I cannot." There is always a way. If you want to achieve something, set a clear goal, and you will reach the summit by Allah's will. Achievement is not obtained by mere wishful thinking. The world is taken by effort. Nothing is impossible for those with determination. If you set your ambition, rely on Allah and strive. The path to the summit is difficult, but it is pleasurable and fulfilling. When you reach the top, there is rest, comfort, and reward. Seek help from Allah, do not despair, and start now. Set a goal in your life and commit to it. Imagine yourself one day telling your brothers, "On this day at this camp, I resolved to do this, and Allah aided me, and I achieved what I wanted." I ask Allah to benefit us and you with these words, and to make all our actions sincere for His sake. O Allah, bless every viewer of this message, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, with knowledge, wisdom, patience, and peace. Make their efforts fruitful, their hearts tranquil, and their lives purposeful. Unite us all in goodness, and allow us to leave a positive impact in this world. Ameen. And may Allah reward you, dear viewers, for listening, reflecting, and taking steps toward growth and goodness in your lives. Jazakum Allahu khairan.